give my prediction, because sometimes the training goes well, sometimes the training goes bad. You hear whispers.
Boxing is blessed with a few legends that run their mouths, and Carl Froch is one of them, especially when it involves his countrymen.
Hey guys, Tyson Fury here. Back in the gym as you can.
Within the last few months, he's had altercations with Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, John Fury, and a few others. Ever since Tyson Fury's fight with Francis last October, Carl Froch has been nesting on all matters involving not just Tyson, but every member of the Fury family.
So John Fury, the fighting man, 100-0 on the hard road. But come on, don't be calling out the Cobra.
You and me, Wembley Stadium, 93,000 crowd. I'm up for that, my friend.
So anyway, you said you'll fight.
Well, this time, Carl Froch has joined other boxing professionals to criticize Tyson Fury's trainings after Fury revealed he was going to add enough weight and deploy the same technique he used against Deontay Wilder, where he was too heavy for his opponent and he had more capacity to eat up his opponent's punches. To Tyson Fury, keeping himself so fit like he did during the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship match in May isn't ideal for him, as it was a strange strategy. He feels he should stick with what's always worked and not overcomplicate matters. However, professionals like Carl Froch have heavily condemned his strategy, claiming it would never work, as Oleksandr Usyk is too mobile and skillful to be trapped by his size.
Now, they're trying to tell us that Fury's going to be bigger and better. Bigger and better isn't going to beat Usyk.
Right.
It's really not. If he puts some more weight and tries to think, well, you know what, I'm going to bully Usyk this time. I'm going to go in, I'm going to walk him down. I'll be able to take his shots because I'm that much.
Well, Tyson Fury has finally fired back at him, but let's first see what Carl Froch said about him and his upcoming fight. Speaking to Casino.org, former world champion and Hall of Famer Carl Froch made his prediction, siding with the champion to keep his belts and saying it will be incredibly tough for the Brit to stop that. It's going to be interesting. Usyk is 37. He's older than Fury, but he lives the life. It's not the age of the fighter, but the miles on clock. Fury has more miles on the clock, having had 3 tough fights against Deontay Wilder. Then he was on the floor against Francis. It's not a fight we necessarily need to see. We saw all that we needed in the first fight, but rematches are very popular at the minute across the board.
First defeat at the hands of Usyk, and if you go into an immediate rematch and lose the immediate rematch again, then it's kind of.
I'd predict a Usyk win, probably on points. I couldn't rule out the late stoppage, because if Fury does go for it, as he suggests he will, he could gas out towards the end of the fight. It would be great for British boxing if Fury could win it, as then we might even see a third fight. It's just an incredibly tough ask for him. Fury will likely push for a stoppage this time around to take the result out of the hands of the judges.
He's never been beat. He's unbeaten in 20, 21, 22 fights. He's unbeaten. Usyk. Tyson Fury's only had 1 loss. He had 1 draw against Deontay Wilder. He's had his first loss against Usyk. But in terms of pressure,
it's a strategy that has worked well for him in the past, drawing with Deontay Wilder when they first fought, before stopping in the second and third bouts. Well, Fury has responded and has slammed professionals like Carl Froch, who are trying to teach him what to do on fight night. I don't listen to dumb heads like Carl Froch. I follow my heart and it'll bring me the victory. I remember I boxed really well and Wilder won, and I didn't get the decision. I did the same the other night when I boxed 3 or 4 months ago.
Redemption? Is this revenge?
Redemption for what? It's nothing more and it never will be. Not personal, it's just business. That's all it is. Then some people might have one man winning, other people.
In Wilder 2, I went to knock an idiot out, and we all know what happened. In Usyk 2, I'm gonna knock an idiot out. But you don't expect Carl Froch to criticize just one thing about Tyson Fury. He's also gone ahead to slam the British heavyweight boxer for deciding to keep his father in his corner despite the blatant mess he put up during the undisputed World Heavyweight title clash in May. Froch pointed fingers at Fury's match against Usyk and labeled it terrible and unprofessional, as John Fury made a big mess of himself and single-handedly set the stage for his son's first career defeat.
Tyson probably knows that actually, listen dad, he's probably had the conversation with him, listen dad, I love you to bits, I know you've got my best will, you've got your best intentions at heart.
Former world super middleweight world champion Carl Froch was brutal in his comments about the loss of his countryman, Tyson Fury, and the eventual firing of John Fury from his son's corner. He went as far as slamming his father and putting all the blame on him, comparing Tyson Fury's corner to his own corner during his boxing career.
What we saw in Fury's corner, there are a bunch of different voices in his ear. When you fought, did you just prefer one voice in your ear? Because there were multiple voices on the night in Riyadh.
Former super middleweight world champion, Froch felt the abundance of instructions did Tyson Fury no favors. Speaking on the most recent episode of TalkSport's The Verdict podcast with George Groves, the former unified super middleweight champion said, "Robert McCracken was the main voice in my corner," the 46-year-old told TalkSport. Carl Froch was particularly vocal about removing Fury Sr. "Tony Sims would give me a bit of instruction as I step up off the stall to go out for the round and just say keep that left hand up or get off to your right. Just a last little instruction before you go."
One, because I didn't. I got Robert McCracken 95% of the time, and then I had Tony Sims, Joe Cordina's man. He was doing my cuts. I also had a guy called Mark Seltzer,
But when you've got three people, including Big John Fury, the fighting man, he said with a bit of humor, when you've got him in the corner shouting and screaming at you, whilst you've got two other people giving you advice, that means you're listening to absolutely nobody. He continued, "I thought that was terrible and really unprofessional in his corner. He shouldn't be in there anymore." Carl Froch further commented on Tyson Fury quite harshly, highlighting that Fury survived a torrid 9th round in which he was given a standing 8 count after Usyk rained in a volley of blows which had him staggering into the ropes. The 35-year-old is expected to exercise his contractual right to a rematch, which is penciled in to take place in October.
and he's quite sort of nonchalant with his body language, and it's disrespectful, and people don't like it. You know, if you're at the top and you're representing your...
However, the Cobra has questioned Fury's hunger and believes money is now his sole motivation, and this was part of why Fury had to react. Froch had commented on Fury firing his father. He had questioned the professionalism of his corner, and then he was questioning his hunger and motivation. This was one of the main reasons why Tyson Fury responded, claiming his career was a more gracious one than that of Carl Froch, even if he retired at the moment. Froch continued by questioning Tyson Fury's motivation.
Including Big John Fury, the fighting man, when you've got him in the corner shouting and screaming at you, whilst you've got two other people giving you advice, that means you're listening to absolutely nobody.
I think now Tyson Fury's realized the legacy's probably not intact like he'd like it to be, Froch added, so now I think he's just concentrating on the money. I overheard a soundbite when he was in the ring, and he looked over at Turki Alalshik, who's the entertainment guy out in Saudi, and he looked at him. He goes, "Let's get the rematch on, show me the money." As if that's the only thing he's interested in now, just making some more money before he retires.
He's been a fantastic fighter, he's had an unbelievable career, but he's not what he thinks or what he's telling everybody or what Big John Fury's telling everybody, how he's unbeaten, no man born from his mother.
But I don't know how that will settle with him when he looks in the mirror and his head hits the pillow. How does that settle with him? The heavyweight titans are contractually obliged to run back their fight, providing Fury activates the two-way rematch clause written into their contracts, which he has indicated he will. And it's something the champions team said would happen. "We are men of our words," his promoter Alex Krasyuk told Boxing King Media. "It's not about paperwork. If we shake hands and promise something, we do it. I see no reason for the rematch not to take place."
The silk pajamas scenario where he's done everything he wanted to do financially, and now he's fighting because he still enjoys the game, but he's not fighting for financial gain in that sense.
Saudi boxing chief Turki Alalshik recently confirmed that the second fight is penciled in for December. After which, a fight between Fury and Anthony Joshua is being targeted for March 2025. However, Carl Froch has a contrary opinion, sending the most unexpected advice to Oleksandr Usyk that he should ignore the rematch and retire instead.
A friend of mine, Igor Klimas, is no even suggestion from Igor's part that Ugas.
Carl Froch held multiple super middleweight world championships, including the World Boxing Council title twice between 2008 and 2011, the International Boxing Federation title from 2012 to 2015, and the World Boxing Association title from 2013 to 2015. Speaking to a news source, Carl Froch said, "What's Usyk now? 37 years old? So he's slowing down, but he's got the ability to have a couple of close rounds, not lose the round, and say, right, I struggled there. He goes back to his corner and then just lays it on. He gets behind, more feints, more footwork, more aggression with the body language. He doesn't even have to throw a punch. He won't allow Fury to just lean on him and outweigh him.
And I think Usyk's going to beat Fury. I just think it's close, it's tight. With the way Fury struggled against Ngannou, I just think it's a tough fight for Fury to win.
Carl Froch then went ahead to praise Oleksandr Usyk and demeaning his countrymen, Tyson Fury and AJ, claiming they were both in second place, as Usyk has proven to be better than the both of them.
The amount of people that have gone against Tyson, especially in the UK.
No, because the Brits do that. The Brits are traitors, aren't they? They're traitor their king. But let me tell you something.
This harshness from Brits was what John Fury had spoken about in an interview in Saudi Arabia, as he was quick to call Saudi Arabia his new home, claiming he'd want to be like the people there.
Like I feel in Saudi Arabia. Britain has never made me feel well. They couldn't get behind the champion, but they're the ones who are going to miss out them. Nobody else.
Do you think your son only returns to boxing Saudi Arabia?
Only in Saudi Arabia. John. Tyson Fury and the Fury family only fight again in Saudi Arabia. This is where our art is. We love it. The people love us. Long live Saudi Arabia!
Well, it turned out that Carl Froch was a prototype of the Brits John Fury spoke about. Froch continued and said, "I think the only thing Usyk will do is retire. He will either have the rematch or retire. He's got nothing to prove. He's beaten AJ twice, he's now beaten Tyson Fury. He is the generational great for me. Usyk is the main character. He is the leader of the pack. When you look back at this generation of heavyweights, you're going to look back and say Oleksandr Usyk is the main man. He's dominated."
Yeah, I think that Anthony Joshua can take a lot of credit from the two fights with Usyk, which is I think what you're saying, because of the way in which he beat Tyson Fury. Don't get me wrong. It was.
When I retired, I was nearly 37. Usyk is at that age where I know how you feel in training camp and how you feel in rounds 7 and 8. He's completed boxing. Hang up the gloves and turn it in. That is my advice to him. I don't think he's got anything left to prove. The rematch proves nothing. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and the rest of the heavyweights can fight for the number 2 position.
Now, if that desire starts going, then he's not going to have that engine because he's not working as hard in the gym. So I don't know if he can get that peak fitness back in his mid-30s.
Well, Froch did just enough and more to expect a comeback from Tyson Fury. And for once, Tyson Fury can be said to be blameless despite being brutal in his comments at a fellow Brit. Froch even admitted that a showdown between Fury and Joshua would be 2 losers fighting each other, and believes the interest in the contest has been damped following the Gypsy King's defeat to Usyk last weekend. Speaking to Lord Ping, he said, "I'm not surprised Fury's activated the rematch clause. Where else can he go? Does anyone want to see Fury and Anthony Joshua? It's 2 losers, isn't it? You've got 2 losers there fighting over second place. It would have been huge if Fury beat Usyk, but now it's 2 losers in a rubber match. I'm not that excited about it. If Nottingham Forest are playing, I'm watching that instead."
His ability and credibility has not been damaged because of the 2 losses to Usyk, but he did lose, and he did lose twice, and he lost quite conclusively.
Fury should try and rectify the defeat to Usyk. I think he needs to rectify the loss if he's going to be remembered as a top fighter of the era. To be remembered the best, he's going to have to beat Usyk. With Froch admitting that Fury should chase the second showdown with Usyk, it'd appear that the pair are targeting a rematch for later this year. He added, "Fury-Usyk was a close fight, so I'd make Fury the favorite against AJ. What's AJ done since losing to Andy Ruiz? He's had comeback fights against opponents who didn't want to be in there with him. He lost twice to Usyk and he beat Ngannou in an exhibition. AJ has been flattered by the low-level opposition he's been fighting at. If Fury jumps in there with AJ now on the back of that performance, I'd make Fury the favorite."
See this fucking balls? Lick 'em. Listen, haters are gonna hate, and the fact that Tony Bellew and Carl Froch didn't make any money out of the game.
Carl Froch's interview soon became viral, and it was only expected that Tyson Fury gets notified and sends back his own response as well. On getting it, Tyson Fury was again quick to shun Froch for his repeated interest in his matter and how careless he is with his words. Froch is a damn hater. He never sees anything good. He wants to be Britain's best, and that's impossible. We fought almost the same number of fights, and he had 2 losses. This is my first loss in a close and controversial fight, he said. Tyson Fury then added, claiming Carl Froch's career can never be compared to his when you consider the financial benefits and even boxing. He claimed Froch was miles below him. Froch's career is levels below mine, and the world knows this. Britain knows this. After the rematch, I'll see him, he concluded.
It's obviously hurtful to him. and I'm making the biggest bags that's ever existed. I've just signed the biggest deal in boxing history, which I can't divulge to you right now.
And really, it's always been very fierce between the two Brits, as there have been several back and forth between the pair. While Tyson Fury's fight with Francis drew closer, Carl Froch continued his back and forth with the world heavyweight champion and said his CV doesn't stack up against mine, and that he should get in the right with aerial fighter.
The Usyk fight didn't happen. You're fighting Ngannou instead of Usyk. You should be defending your title, really. You've got an obligation to the sport of heavyweight boxing as a champion.
The British pair kept niggling at each other, as Carl Froch was not a particular fan of Fury's bout with MMA champion turned boxing novice Ngannou in Riyadh. Froch told Fury it's all about the money, and Fury called Froch a fool and a hater. In his retort at a press conference for the fight, Fury claimed, "I'm making the biggest bags that have ever existed. Who cares what Froch and Tony Bellew think? They're just average little boxers with no personality." Speaking on Froch on fighting, the Cobra then responded, saying he does have a personality and that he doesn't like talking about money.
But let's just say, clickety clank, let Tony Bellew and Carl Froch do a little mock-up fight somewhere, see if they can get anyone interested in it. Who cares what they think? They're just average little boxers, no personality.
It's not classy to talk about money at all. Me and Tony, we've done all right. We've got out of the sport with our health intact, financially free, physically and mentally in a good place. I'm an average fighter? Your CV doesn't stack up against mine. It just doesn't. You've got 4 wins over world champions. 4! Steve Cunningham, an old cruiserweight. Vladimir Klitschko in a real stinker. Horrible fight. Deontay Wilder 3 times and you beat him twice. I've got 11 wins over world champions. Lennox Lewis. What's he got? 14? I'll tell you something. You can have as much money as you want in your wallet. You turn up to the Hall of Fame party next year and you won't be dining on the top table with any of my peers because you won't belong there with that CV. Froch then made a heartfelt plea to Fury to make the big fights happen. However, when a response was going to come, it came from another Fury, John Fury.
Come and meet me face to face. I'll eat Froch alive and I'll eat Bellew alive. You want to come and see me? I'm here and I'm ready and I'm stepping back from no man no matter who they are.
Fury Sr. has regularly sparked angry confrontations with pundits and boxers during his career, including YouTube star KSI, Carl Frampton, and now most recently, the Cobra. With Froch criticizing the resume of his son after recent results in the division, the eldest Fury decided to offer a more physical settlement to the debate, insisting he would kick the former boxing champion if he saw him in public. He told a news source, "He's a first-class idiot, wants a kick up the butt, and he'll get it off me if he ever comes round me. When they talk about stuff like that, it gets under my skin, just because they want a few more viewing figures. They're jealous because people are only interested in the current champions. That's why when you see the Furies out of boxing, you'll never see us again, because we don't hang around as has-beens. No one wants to know about has-beens. You're a bum, Carl Froch. Keep my son's name out of your mouth because you ain't good enough to kiss his freaking butt."
Since you've been out the nick, you've not had a fight with anybody. I remember a guy called Mickey Theo. There's a couple of others as well. But Porky Russ, on Porky's Corner.
The feud has heated up online, with Froch being begged to make a response by fans online after John Fury's outburst. It is clear that there is no love lost between the pair, and Froch might have just escalated that further.
You out to fight Mickey Theo for charity. You went silent. The big hard man, 100 hours on the hard road. The fighting man. Didn't want to fight.
During the video, Froch even goes personal to talk about some of the famous father's own fights, before explaining exactly why he made his comments about the lineal heavyweight champion. "He's called me a friggin' idiot. To me, that means someone is a bottle job, scared to fight anybody. Have a look at my CV. I'll fight anybody. I fear nobody. I fear no man born from his mother, to quote your son. Tyson Fury, he's called me a has-been. What's all this business? That comes from somebody who has never been."
Come on, 4 wins over world champions against 11 wins over world champions. I'm in the Hall of Fame for a reason. But again, I'm not here to discredit Tyson Fury.
If I'm asked a question about your son, I will give an honest answer. Get over it, Big John. You're about kicking me up the butt when you see me. You won't be kicking anybody. You won't come near me. You'll probably come and shake my hand, and I hope you do. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.